Saskatchewan work should go to Saskatchewan companies, plain and simple. When the taxpayers footing the bill, they should be confident that their money is being recirculated in our economy, not going to pad corporate profits in other provinces or other countries. With more than 9,000 construction companies in Saskatchewan and more than 44,000 construction workers, there are more than enough companies and people to do the work. You know, a local contractor is significantly more likely to, one, be a small business, keeping in mind that 94% of Saskatchewan construction companies are just that, small businesses. Small businesses really are the bedrock of the Saskatchewan economy. That local contractor is more likely to hire and retain local labor, providing more job opportunities for Saskatchewan people. They're more likely to be familiar and in compliance with local standards and regulations, and they're more likely to pay taxes locally, and they're more likely to support the local community through donations of time and money. Recent research has made it clear that Saskatchewan construction companies are very unlikely to do business outside of the province, while they remain highly vulnerable to non-Saskatchewan competitors. It's time that government procurement policies and practices across all levels of government reflect this reality. A great place to start is by recognizing that procurement, which is the purchase of goods and services, is fundamentally a local economic development process. Traditionally, procurement is viewed as an administrative process, and it isn't given the executive attention and oversight that it requires. If, instead, we reframe this essential process as critical to, one, achieve the provincial growth plan, and two, grow the local economy, so much of how we view and engage with procurement will change. Kudos to the provincial government for recently recognizing this need for a cultural shift and identifying procurement as an economic development process. This is a big step. Now, we need to see the impact of this policy shift cascade through the procurement activities of government. We also need to see municipalities, school boards, and every agency or group funded by taxpayer dollars follow the same approach. The money they spend has never been their own. It belongs to the taxpayers of Saskatchewan, many of whom are the very businesses we're trying to support through this ongoing policy shift. We expect and need the provincial government to go even further in the coming months. We also need municipal governments, school boards, and other public entities to embrace this cultural shift and get on board with supporting local vendors as a key mechanism for driving best value for taxpayers. To help move this whole area forward, the Saskatchewan Construction Association has submitted more than 40 recommendations for action to the procurement leaders of the Government of Saskatchewan. Some of these have already been acted on, and more are in progress. A link to view these recommendations can be found in the description below this video. During this campaign, we've highlighted 6 calls to action and are asking that every candidate for MLA endorse these 6. Number 1. Any company that works on public construction sites should have their Saskatchewan Core certification or an equivalency. Number 2, any company that works on a public construction site should be a member of one of the associations within the network of construction associations across Saskatchewan. Number 3, every time a contract is awarded to a non-Saskatchewan company, it must trigger a mandatory after-action report that looks at why and that explains how the procuring agency will change their processes to improve Saskatchewan outcomes going forward. Number 4, procurement must be reframed as a local economic development activity, and everyone who works in procurement must think of themselves as economic development officers. Number 5, economic development factors should be considered when assessing to which vendor to award a contract. And finally, number 6, develop, implement, and improve a robust local vendor engagement program across all procuring agencies that sees everyone involved in procurement have some direct engagement with local vendors on an ongoing basis. While these 6 are not enough alone, they will help continue to shift the balance and ensure that Saskatchewan contractors are in the best possible position to succeed going forward. As we know, what is good for construction is good for Saskatchewan, and an even more robust focus on buying services from local companies is good for all of us.